So, hello everyone. I have ALISHA with me, Brashe with Cosmic Gateway. I was actually over her place not too long ago doing an experiment with a couple of people. And this experiment that we did, which I want to share, is how to do it two props. The one was the light, which she has on her, and right there. And the other one was imprinting her signature. So when you come out of your body, when you write something on a piece of paper, or the person that's writing something on a piece of paper, whoever it is, they're imprinting their signature. That's typically thought forms or potential unconscious things imprinting on that piece of paper as well, or whatever the person has been thinking, like focusing on or wanting to get answers to. So the two things that we're doing in the testing was imprinting the signature on the piece of paper, and also turning on the light. Right now, I'll just go through my story, and then I'll have ALISHA explain her side of it as well. So I basically shut down my body. It takes me about 3 hours to do, three and a half hours to do. Come out. And so she writes the number two, like, just on the piece of paper, a number two with a star imprinting her signature. She had a friend do the same thing, but she wrote a number 7 imprinting her signature. And so when I come out of my body, they also said try to turn on the light, right? And so that's what I try to do. So I come out, I turn on the light. Now when I turn on the light was you want to show them how bright the light is?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Yeah. So so the light's super bright. Now when I turned it on in the out of body state, it was a very, very dim, extremely dim, almost like it had like only 3% battery left in it, right? And now recapping on that, understanding what ALISHA will then share as well is when you're in the out of body state, you tend to absorb things, like absorb light. So when you're turning something on, it may not come as bright as what it usually is, right? Now, then I looked at the piece of paper, like both of the piece of papers that they wrote on, and what I saw was all of these ancient texts from Egypt, right? And they were just text all throughout the paper. And as I was looking at the text, I don't know how to read ancient Egypt text, right? But I know by picking that up, that was imprinting information into my soul, right? And the thing that I got with that is that there was a death death in Egypt related to ALISHA, right? So in a past life, and connect it with her one friend. Now, what I also saw as well is that there was a highlighted 9, right, on the piece of paper as well. Ironically, 7 plus 2 is 9. And they were on each pieces of paper, ALISHA's and her friend, they were mirrored off one another. So they were all mirrored, right? So the same thing that was on ALISHA's, the same thing that was on her friend's as well, piece of paper. And it was the same information, as if when you go in back into that period of time, Egypt, it's because that event that I was picking up on happened at the same time, and it's because of both of them were connected in that particular lifetime. So, and then I came back in my body, said blah blah blah, wrote it down, showed ALISHA, and I said I turned on the light, and then I'll let ALISHA say the rest.
Thank you, Darius. Okay, so from my side, Darius wanted for me to participate in one of his experiments, and the first thing was to write a number down. So I did that. I had a piece of paper, I wrote the number 2, and I was guided to put a star on the top. And that was going to be the original experiment, was just me putting something on the piece of paper with a number. But what was happening in the background, or what has been happening, is that I had a very specific question that I had been thinking about in the days, perhaps weeks leading into us doing this experiment. And it was very kind of fresh in my energy, or in my energetic field, or within my subconscious. I had a question that I hadn't been able to access an answer to, of why do I have a particular dynamic with my friend, and how do we get to the root cause, and how do we clear it? And that was a blind spot that I hadn't been able to access. Unknowing all of this prior to doing the experiment, I had this intuitive nudge to ask my friend to also get a piece of paper and to write a number. So originally we just thought, oh, Darius will come out of the body and he'll just read the numbers that, me and her put on a piece of paper. So before going to bed, I put the two pieces of paper side by side and I placed this light in the middle. And during the night, I actually woke up at a very specific time. And I believe, Darius, I believe that was the time that you started to come out of body.
Yeah.
So,
So about 3 hours from heading
yeah,
off. Yeah. Which would
yeah,
have been like one.
it was
Well,
1:55.
yeah, yeah. Like
Yeah.
two. Yeah.
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 And I started to stir and I started to wake at that time, but I didn't open my eyes. And it was probably about 5 minutes approximately after that that my friend came out of her bedroom and she walked through the room and went to the bathroom. Now, she didn't know any of this. Can you hear that?
Oh, it's the dog in the
It's
background.
Aria.
Should be good. Yeah.
All right, keep
Yeah,
going.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Keep on going. It's all
He's
good.
so loud, and he's about to slurp up a bunch of water now.
Yeah.
So my friend came out about 5 minutes after that. She went to the bathroom. I heard her come out, but I didn't open my eyes. I was being aware of energetic presence in the room. Um, so when I woke up in the morning, my friend came to me and she went, "Oh, Darius actually turned the light on." And I said, "No, no, he didn't," because I thought to myself, if Darius had come in and put this light on, that would wake me up. It's so bright in a dark room that it's going to wake you up, right?
Yeah, and your house is pitch black when it's nighttime.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm. And she said, "Yeah, I came out of the bathroom and I looked for it. It was the first thing I did. I looked straight to the table and the light was on." She goes, "But it was weird because it was really dull, like it was really dim." She goes, "So I just thought that he turned the light on and it was so bright that you put like a blanket or something over it to like try and dull the room or dull the light." And I said to her, "No, no, it couldn't be because I didn't do that. I didn't put anything over it. So he couldn't have turned the light on because I would have woken up." And we sort of had a bit of a, not an argument, but like a debate about it because I was convinced that there was no way that Darius could have turned the light on. And that was it. So a couple hours later, Darius gets up and he shows me the piece of paper. And he's like, "What is this?" And I was really taken back because Egypt is a very significant part of my soul's journey. I feel that a lot of things that I have had to work through in this lifetime go back to a past lifetime in Egypt. And I've been searching for a very specific answer for many, many years. And when he explained to me what he received, what he got, I was kind of blown away because it answered, even though when I wrote the number on the piece of paper, I didn't consciously have that question, but it was running in my subconscious. And when he presented the paper, he basically answered a question, gave me the answer, or the information that I needed to a question that I've had that was very prominent the days leading up to the experiment.
Yeah, because once you're right something, something that I've noticed through the many experiments that I've done, thought forms are literally there. Because I typically do it on a whiteboard, so the thought forms are much like I could see them. They're like pictures on the whiteboard of what people were thinking. But on a piece of paper, it's I've never seen ancient texts, Egyptian text, like scrolling down the paper, before. So that was pretty cool, and the light as well. The only thing looking back at that is like the soul is absorbing energy, so that's light, you know. So when you get flickering of light, people will be like, when the light flickers, they think it's a spirit. It's probably somebody, an entity in that
Mhm,
space absorbing light. So
mhm, mhm,
yeah, because that was the first thing I noticed. I'm like, why isn't this when I turned it on? Because I didn't think that was going to show up. physically at all. I just thought it was like, but why is that so dim? And I still had to pick up the paper to angle it to the light to look at it properly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, it was just incredible. And when she said that, like, she specifically came out to look, and her thoughts were when she looked on the table and saw the light was on, she went, "Oh, Darius has been on. He did it. He turned." And in her mind, there was no question. Like, "Oh yeah, he did it." But she couldn't work. Yeah, the only logical explanation of why it was so dim was she thought that I'd thrown like a blanket or a cloth over it to dull it out so I could sleep. Yeah.
Yeah. But thanks for sharing that. I just wanted
Thank
to
you.
document this experiment because that's what I'm gonna be doing from now on for a little bit, just documenting certain things that I do and other people do. So,
I look forward to your future experiments and, yeah, what comes after this. So,
well,
thank you,
I'll
Darius.
come over again and then I'll do some more crazy yeah.
I look forward to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright.
All right.
Alrighty. Thanks for sharing, Alicia.
Bye.